Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. You join us for Money in the Bank, a pay-per-view where I'm hoping to try and do something that I don't believe has been done before. It certainly hasn't been done before in real life, so there's that to look forward to. And it's a very rare occasion where I'm actually recording this not too ahead of when it's going live. This is happening on Friday, it's going live on Monday. It's probably the closest you'll ever get one of my TW saves, apart from release day, of being an order of where it is. So yeah, it's been just a busy period really, and I've still been able to book a lot of shows. You know, it is quite a time consuming process booking free shows, free hour shows I should say, but I want to book everything. I want to do all the micromanagement we need to do, and I don't intend to have an auto booker or anything, but hey, I still love the save, man. It's been great fun. And the good thing is this particular show, because of that, is really quite story driven, so there will be a bit of time we'll need to kind of explain what I've booked, why I've booked it, and the storyline behind it. But I'm really looking forward to this. We'll take a play again for the 100 rated show. I've went with the boosts of a legendary band, an A-list celebrity, and an extra $2 million in the set, so that's $12 million we're putting in, but the company makes it. I've decided the way I'm going to work it as well is one will be on full pay-per-view, as in this one, and the event next week will just be on the network, as in WWE Battlegrounds, where we have Raw versus SmackDown. But yeah, looking forward to this one. As I say, it does go the full amount of time, and yeah, leads on to what's hopefully going to be quite a good summer of 2022. So without further ado, we'll get to that show as always. Thanks for tuning in. Want to go social, you know what to do. Want to buy the game, etc. There's a link in the description below to take you to the shop of Grey Dog Software and the best places to view other people's content, whether it be verbal or written. Less of that, more of this. Money in the Bank. Let's go. So one pre-show match, only 16 segments after this. There's a lot of lengthy matches, but we've managed to go 48,000. We're in Pittsburgh, PA. And our pre-show matchup was a terrible pre-show match, as the SmackDown tag team of Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir defeated Nikki Cross and Lacey Evans in 10:39 when Jessamine Duke pinned Nikki Cross. During the matchup though, we had Lacey Evans turn on Nikki Cross, and it gave the 5th title defence of the WWE Women's Tag Team titles to the team of Duke and Shafir. Just a 56 here. Nikki's been in a bit of a downward spiral. Alexa Bliss obviously had a few issues and she's moved to Raw after being captured, or whatever you want to say, from Bray Wyatt. And yeah, Nikki's been in a downward spiral. Lacey's been acting up as a heel. She's getting really frustrated, which is why we've turned her in the pre-show. 4 segments there, that should hopefully be enough, and it was a complete success. So Lacey Evans will add to the heel side on SmackDown. Just not a character I see as a babyface, if I'm being honest, in real life and TW as well. Now on to the main show, and that's a bit of a disappointing rating, just an 81, but it's hyping up our main event, a fatal 4-way for the WWE Championship, and we'll see Big E, John Cena, Randy Orton and the Fiend Bray Wyatt competing for Big E's championship. Big E is over like Stone Cold and The Rock, hundreds in some places. John Cena's obviously had his issues with Randy Orton, he's had his issues with Vince McMahon, because obviously he's the partner of Stephanie McMahon. Randy wants his title back, and the Fiend's just kind of been, you know, looking in the background. He's obviously started recruiting people. He's obviously got the protectors of the Fiend, which of course are Akam and Razar. He's got Alexa Bliss on his side, he's got the Evil Empress, and there are rumours circulating that he could be bringing more people to Monday Night Raw. More on that eventually down the line. But an 81, I wanted it to be a bit better. A lot of positives there, as you can see, so we might be struggling to get the promo side of the bargain of a good rating, but we'll hopefully be fine in the match sense. That is the main event as well, that fatal 4-way match with the Money in the Bank matches. Might take a bit of a hit because they're ladder matches, but got to keep it realistic. If the product doesn't allow it, fair enough, but Money in the Bank's always got the ladder matches, so I do wish to stick with that. Opening contest of the evening was about that had fantastic heat and great wrestling. Drew McIntyre defeated Brock Lesnar in 17:43 by pinfall with the Scott drop. A 79 is a bit disappointing, but Drew scores the win over Brock. This one Rumours are circulating in the WWE universe that Brock Lesnar is potentially leaving the WWE, and Drew says, well, if he's leaving, then he wants to be the man that sends him back in. So he gets the victory over Brock Lesnar in this matchup. Is Brock leaving? Well, him and Heyman have a few words after it in the ring. I know it says backstage, but just pretend. And they says, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving this place till I get a damn victory. So he is back in action straight away after that 84 promo, so that'll count as our best promo. And he takes on the Velveteen Dream. And in about that had great heat and good wrestling, the Velveteen Dream defeats Brock Lesnar in 15:08 with a power line. Just a 76 here, the 70 rating plays an 80, and there was a definite lack of psychology on display. Although, Chris Sabin says Velveteen Dream debuted a new comeback spot, they got the crowd buzzing, and that's going to boost his psychology, so that's good for him in the long term of his development. But they're still raging, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, they're furious. And he says, no, we are not leaving this goddamn company until I get a win and put whichever sucker I can in his place. So an 81 there. And another man that Lesnar's had a few issues with has been Otis. And in about that had great heat and decent wrestling, Otis defeated Brock Lesnar in 14:26 with a dozer bomb. A 75 here, you can tell Brock is getting a wee bit annoyed, showing true unprofessionalism, and a clearly unhappy Brock Lesnar completely phoned in his performance. It was clear to everyone he wasn't trying. So a 75, the win for Otis on pay-per-view. And after this, Brock Lesnar said he's had enough, he's leaving, he's never coming back to this goddamn company. So, reason for that storyline is basically, as you know, in the last video, all those contracts come up. Lesnar is on a massive contract, and yeah, I just didn't want to pay it, basically. I thought, well, he would have been wanting 900,000 a month, and I'm like, that could pay for so many developmental talents. And Brock's obviously getting on in age, so yeah, I'll just job him out and let him go. So, his contract is being picked up by, of all places, CMLL, I believe. So he'll be going there, but I've been jobbing him out on Raw, jobbing him out on pay-per-view tonight, and I'm hoping at least the wins here can boost Drew, can boost Otis, and boost the Velveteen Dream. So you've basically saw a burial of Brock Lesnar's WWE career, as he'll be leaving in a few weeks' time, I believe. On to better things though, we had the Women's Money in the Bank matchup, and it was a poor matchup, and it saw Sasha Banks defeat Dana Brooke, Asuka, Priscilla Kelly, Chelsea Green and Candice LeRae in a Money in the Bank ladder match in 1741 when Sasha Banks retrieved the item, meaning that Sasha Banks is the Women's Money in the Bank winner. So in this one, my reasoning behind it was, I don't think Sasha's got over as much as I would like. I could have gave this to an up-and-comer, but at the end of the day, I still want to take a bit of time to book Dana. Priscilla's got plenty of time, Chelsea's already been champion. I just felt like I can do stuff with the Money in the Bank briefcase on Sasha. So yeah, we'll work with that. I'm hoping to have a really strong 2022 with Sasha, trying to get her up to the overness levels of Becky, Rhea, Chelsea, and obviously Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, just to name a few. So she's not been the most over, but we just need to crack into her character and hopefully we can get her over. You can see there the third worst in-ring performance, behind Candice and Dana with the two worst ones there, but overall a 65 and a good win for the boss. We then had the women's matchup for the Raw Women's Championship. Good matchup with Rhea Ripley defeat Ronda Rousey in 18:25 with Soul Food, and Rhea makes defence number 2 of the Raw Women's Championship. So a 65 is because we have to keep Ronda looking strong. Ronda still has over 80 overness. If we can tap any of that into Rhea, that's why we're doing this. So she gets a bit unhappy because there is still a gap, so we have to keep her strong. Rhea Ripley has a strong connection with the young female demographics, so she'll continue to pick up victories. I'm hinting at turning Ronda face. I do want to go Ronda Shayna at one point, but it might be a bit delayed, so don't be surprised if in future videos that doesn't happen. So I'm thinking about it, but obviously I need time to build it up, but I could easily WWE it and just cancel that idea. But she picks up the win anyway over Ronda Rousey. After the matchup, Shayna Baszler comes in, 2-on-1 beatdown of Rhea Ripley is a 76. Rhea came across very well in this beatdown. Sasha makes the save, and she fights off both Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey a 66, but a bit of respect shown to Rhea Ripley. She's like, oh, you're the champ, man, I don't want to cash in like this. I could have, but when the time is right, Sasha will cash in. So no cash in on Rhea, but it could lead to Money in the Bank holder and champion with a few issues with challengers. We move along to a 8-man tag match. So I didn't want Roman in the main event at the moment. I just feel like, you know, he wouldn't be. Him and Keith Lee have done a bit, so keeping them apart for a bit. So the Samoan Dynasty against Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor, Aleister Black and Roderick Strong. And it was a decent matchup that saw Fatu, Reigns and the Usos defeat the baby faces of Nakamura, Balor, Black and Strong in 1850 when Roman Reigns pinned Finn Balor with a spear. Just a 74 though, because the Usos are not the most over, and Mr. Balor is dealing with a broken jaw, but I kinda need him because we're slowly getting him over, and he has some future plans afoot for him. He was off his game. Both of the Usos have got gimmicks that are stale. That's fine. The plan is for Balor, he's going to have a gimmick change here, and then there might be a good program for him and Reigns down the line. But the handle changes is Finn Balor is going to become a inspirational leader, which get a rating of very good, and he'll sell more merchandise than usual, which is good. That's something that'll build up over time. If he's a leader, some people have to follow him. But who will those be in the battle against the Samoan Dynasty here? We then move on to the Universal Championship match, and it wasn't great. It could be a combination of things here, we'll find out with the dirt sheet. But fantastic heat and great wrestling. The Miz gets his one-on-one match with Keith Lee to try and win it back, but Keith Lee wins with the Power Slam in 1836, giving Keith Lee the third defence of the Universal Championship. Bit of a filler match up here, but again it gives Keith Lee another win on his title run. And what really caused this to be his negative? Just didn't really work, declining physical ability, poor announcing. It's a shame, it would have been really good. But yeah, Keith Lee picks up the win, and yeah, we'll hopefully move them apart going forward. Daniel Bryan cuts a promo, which gets a 78. He was a real star in the segment. A potential future heel turn was hinted, and he benefited from a hot catchphrase. He's been very disappointed. He's had many opportunities to get that Universal Championship. It continues to elude him, but in winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, he cements his opportunity to become champion. Pretty much guaranteed. He's done it before, and he'll do it again. His words. This is it. This is the big surprise. Ah, right. I know where we've went wrong. So if I pick the Money in the Bank ladder match, it gets a good rating. But if I just pick a ladder match, it gets down as a extremely poor choice for the audience. So this normally wouldn't have a 53. It's a live com, so yeah, we'll just deal with it. We'll take the 53. It's not the main event anyway, so it doesn't really factor in the rating. But it kind of spoils the surprise. We'd about had superb wrestling anyway, and great heat, and judging by those in-ring performances, this could have been in the 80s, high 80s I think possibly, maybe even into the 90s. But we had NXT champion Ace Austin defeat Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole and Karrion Kross in a ladder match when Ace Austin retrieved the item after Adam Cole was distracted by his bodyguard Babatunde. This means your Money in the Bank winner is the NXT champion Ace Austin. Nice surprise. Shame it was ruined with the segment rating, but after the match up, Ace Austin and his bodyguard Babatunde celebrate in the ring, and they have a 74. So we could potentially see someone becoming NXT and a champion on the main roster, possibly at the same time. We then head to our main event, which also was quite disappointing. So the announced team are really affecting us here, so I think the only reason we're going to survive here is all those boosts, especially when it says about the unbelievable heat and superb wrestling. So I think it is the announced team. I need to either, I thought I'll ask you guys, would you want me to boost the announcer stats to make sure we can actually get ratings that reflect in-ring performances and overness, or stick it out, wait till someone comes through? It's realistic. WWE doesn't have great announcers at times, so let me know your stance on that one. As I say, we're quite close to where uploads anyway, so it would be quite a quick turnaround of when that gets interpreted into the game. But anyway, unbelievable heat and superb wrestling. Big E defeats John Cena, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton in 22-23 when Big E pinned John Cena with a big ending. The matchup, we saw Braun attack Cena, because obviously that feud's still going, and Alexa Bliss distract Randy Orton. Of course, she is aligned with The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Big E makes his first defence of the WWE title, so after winning it at the pay-per-view of Payback, unless it was Payback, he defends it in a fatal 4-way, and he remains your champion. Right, dirt sheet, what was wrong with it? Inconsistency, declining physical ability. Aye, the announcers have absolutely ruined that. So we're not going to turn her straight away, but she is obviously going to turn heel and align completely with Bray Wyatt. But she's kind of like similar to real life, under the spell. I want to try and see, I know it's kind of copying WWE in real life, but if we can align her with Bray, if we can really get her over and give us another good bit of star power in our women's division. So despite that, we managed to get an 84. So I wouldn't say it was probably a pretty poor show rated because of poor announcing, etc. But the fact we put all those boosts in with announcers, etc., with celebrities, bands, that saved us a little bit. And an 84 is a pretty... it's okay, I'll take it. Not every show is going to be fantastic, but if we want this 100 show, then we, by God, need to get a really, really good announcer. I think there is a few in developmental that have come through as graduates, so I'll maybe take a look at NXT, take a look at NXT UK and all my other classes that we've got. So there's at least 5 or 6 different developmental places. Call them up to NXT first and foremost so I can actually try them out, because they've got a new announced team as well down at NXT. I need to check that. Right, let's have a look at the news items anyway and see what happens. Velveteen Dream has wowed fans with that new spot, that's cool. So he's getting a good bit over on this there, you can see with the 76 there. Money in the Bank was awesome, getting fantastic reviews. Anything else that directly affects us? Not that I can see. Rockstar Spud is retiring, although he is someone that is not with us at the moment. Let's see shows, 32. I'll let him stay with New Japan at the moment. So all these deals are expiring, that's fine. I got better deals basically, so they're all gone. Road Dogg says Alexa Bliss is a natural talker. Rhea Ripley says Priscilla Kelly is charismatic. The viewing figures was 12 million overall, of which 4.06 on pay-per-view. And if we just quickly go to the roster then, people we can highlight. So if I actually, never mind highlight. How did Ace Austin do? There's a bit of a boost for you. And he's in developmental as well. Not a bad climb. 49 this time last year, overness, and he's now at 86. He's been strongly booked in NXT, and that victory has just propelled him to a higher level. But as I say, NXT champion at the moment, Money in the Bank winner, Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winner, so I've absolutely thrown the life of a push at him, and it's really going well for him. Babatunde, he's pretty good over as well, although age not on his side as much. Back to main roster, other people I want to quickly take a wee look at are people. Well, Brock's obviously going to have dropped a wee bit, but as I say, hired by CMLL, he's going on that exclusive written contract, and we'll confirm that it is 7 days. Maybe Brock gets beat next week on the pay-per-view. We'll just make him lose at Battleground to job him out again, but yeah, he's gone. They're paying him crazy money, so that's fine. Yeah, is it going to let me see it? It's not. Okay. Who else had a good victory? Sasha had a very good victory. So she's gaining a little bit, but she's still a long way off where I want her to be. As I say, there's big plans for her ahead. Roman remains in the low 90s, which is very, very good. Rhea, there we go. So that's a big gain for Rhea Ripley. You can see there the 71, 72 drop. You'll jump her up 6, 7. It's pretty good. Happy with that. Has Ronda taken a big loss out of that? Not overly, so she's not losing anything in defeat, so that's even better. That's promoting someone over and someone not losing pop in the defeat either. Of course she was protected. Otis. Thanks, Brock. I don't particularly like Otis myself, but the guy's getting over in the States, I cannot deny it. So he's really coming over with that victory at 11. He's 11 over gained these victories over Brock Lesnar. And the last two I'm just going to show the usual two champions at the moment. Keith Lee, let's carry same. Where do we go with Keith Lee? 98s, 99s, and a 97. He is over. We should bask in his glory. And Big E actually lost a bit of overness there. But 98s, 99s across the board. What a difference a year makes. He's 100 over in some places, but he's just been the man. That is the company guy. He is our John Cena. He's our Stone Cold. He's our Rock. Possibly all combined into one with that victory. So I'm going to go ahead now. Next episode will be, I believe, on Thursday, and that will be Battleground. So it's going to be some. There's not going to be a lot in terms of storylines, but it is going to be Raw Superstars versus SmackDown Superstars. I just want to test out, see who works well together, and hopefully, have some interesting matches, freshen it up a little bit. Although I know we've just did the draft, but these matches probably wouldn't happen again for another year, or until people move about in a secondary draft. So hopefully that's good. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As again, let me know what you think about the announcer situation, and yeah, what do you think of Ace Austin as the Money in the Bank winner? Let me know your thoughts. But thanks as always for watching. It's much appreciated, and hopefully I'll see you soon for some more TW content. Take it easy. Bye bye.